welcome to another episode of the Smoking NERF News. I am on top of the Orchard Gateway. This is actually the Hotel Jen. This is where I smoked my first Cuban cigar in Singapore. One of the things I wanted to do when I was here, and I never thought I would be back, working here for a living, was get a Cuban cigar and smoke it, because you can't really get them in America. Okay, so here I am, this Hotel Jen. I want to show you this view. I'm going to change this one everywhere. Show you this view. Oh wow, isn't it beautiful? Right in the middle of Orchard Road. Beautiful, beautiful place. People have high class and good taste. I change Phil everywhere, but we'll get that after the shoot. And anywho, I'm drinking a wild turkey and Coke. I'm smoking a Cohiba Siglo 2. So what's new? Well, okay, you got NERF Singapore. They are going to have their meet on the 27th of March. $20 a person. You gotta have a barbecue, big old thing. Everybody's going, and if you don't go, they're all gonna laugh at you. So you might as well just sign up. It'll probably be a really excellent event. The people in Singapore really know how to turn it up, and they also know how to just be good, loyal people too. So it ought to be a really good get together. But one thing that concerns me is there really a psych imitator out there? Really? Oh man, you know, Ben, it's about time we hung out and talked anyway. I think we should, I would really like to interview you on a future Smoking NERF News. If you don't want to, that's fine, but this is a little crazy. I mean, someone is actually imitating psych. Who the heck would want to imitate psych? I mean, man, who would want to imitate me for that matter? I mean, shit, man, no one would want to imitate me. I mean, I wouldn't want to imitate me if I had the choice, but be on your own, man. Jesus. I hear there's this guy who's imitating Ben Coe. I think he's trying to get more hits on YouTube, whatever, but he's imitating him. That's pretty bad, you know? NVZ, the whole drama with that's finally passed. Going to be moved to, I believe it's going to be moved to Georgia, and it's going to be called Endgame, and Drax doing it. I think it's a good idea, but a lot of people have the animosity. Oh, well, Jax is taking this over, and I know there's probably a lot of heat going on with that. I didn't go to the original one because I wanted to see just things kind of work itself out. But you know, the first game is always never the best game. You know what I mean? But Endgame ought to be really interesting. Not just as a game. I gotta find my lighter. Not just as a game, but also that how are they gonna handle this transition, so to speak. Eric Hart's been organizing it. He's always been pretty cool to me. He's always been alright. But people have an aversion to a NERF, I guess, monetization of things and change. Yeah, I had to cut down there for a second because my cigar went out. But monetization and change, and sometimes even celebrity appearances. You know, let's say people like Drac, maybe people like Coop, maybe people that are well known. People just have that kind of aversion to it. And anytime there's change, there's always that little bit of animosity everywhere. Let's say a Drac, a Coop, a Will Randall. Some say me, but I don't think I'm kind of like the NERF hero. I think I'm more like a NERF anti-hero, if you know what I'm saying. People get kind of on the comment boards, and they get a little rancy. You know, it happens. I'm pretty good at handling it. You know, years and years of doing it, of course. And, of course, knowing the community and talking to the community and being involved, you know. But I'll tell you several reasons why I back my buddy Drac. Even though I like Eric and I back him too, but I think Drac knows how to put on a good game. I think he's a born leader. He knows how to get the community together. When I met him, he was nothing but this absolute genius of harmony of the community, of the spirit of youth, of the spirit of NERF. I met him here at this hotel, actually, in one of these rooms, my room, and we hung out, and we talked, and we shared scotch, and we had fun, you know. I think he's going to put on a good game. I think it would be a really good event to go to. And if you think about it, Georgia is a really good place to have an HVZ because it's beautiful, it's green, and it's challenging. It's hot, it's moist, the terrain is, you know, slick and slippery and wet. It's an interesting place to have an HVZ, unlike a desert, or I would dare say even Ohio. I lived in Ohio for a while. I've gone to like Chillicothe, and I lived in Columbus and all that. But I don't know. There's just something compared to hot, moist environment versus a hot but not as moist environment. You get a little bit from the Great Lakes, but not as much as, let's say, Georgia. Anybody who's ever been to Florida or Georgia or Singapore knows that there's humidity and then there's humidity. Yeah, it's quite a difference. And like even now, I've smoking smaller cigars because it does get hot here. It does get wet here, you know. So I would really like to see Endgame. Am I going to be able to make it there? I don't know. It depends on how much I'm doing, what work I'm doing. I'm halfway across the world from where Endgame would be, so I don't know. But if I can convince my boss to go, sure, I'll go. Another thing is Armageddon is up. The info is up on Nerf Haven. Go take a look. My favorite Nerf war of the year is, of course, Armageddon. And Armageddon 17 is going to be fabulously kick-ass. Actually, I don't think it's 17. It's 18. Yeah, it's 18. Because the first one was in 1999. That's right. It's 18. Armageddon 18. It's going to be fabulous. The people who put it on are really great. Nerf Haven really knows what they're doing. Usually, it's Ice 9 who organizes Armageddon. Has since Apollo 256 passed it to him. Me and Paulo have had some really good talks in private about Nerf, about the community, about how it started in Glendora. And I was really happy to be part of its roots. And I feel that every time I have an Armageddon, much more than any other war. No stadium in Texas is ever going to beat that. I mean, never going to beat a Nerf war, a major Nerf war that is being played at the roots of where the Knicks started with the people who founded it. It's quite something. It's different, you know. And when you're used to shooting Singapore steel, when you're used to playing with modded stock and all these other games that people play, and you play more in the level of the original Nerf modding communities, the standards, mentality, and not and just sportsmanship, it is different. It is really different. But don't go buy a Nerf Mastodon at Target and just show up. No. Put your guts into it. Build a good blaster. Homemade, if possible, okay? And really show them what you can do, okay? Another war that I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to attend, even though I've attended every single one since 2014. And I hope this year I can do that. But when I went to my first war, I upped it. I upped the ante. I got some X-Darts. I built the Scaremaga 1. I built the Bird of Prey M. Okay. I upped my Ultra Match Pink Crush, and I brought the R-Spec. I really upped it, you know. And Armageddon's a war that's encouraged. Okay. So if you're gonna up your ante, that's the war. If you got a big mod to introduce, that's the war. That and APOC, you know. Langley and Captain Slug and all them, you know, Van James, excellent modder, you know, excellent kid, you know, all those guys, Rob Webb, all those cats, you know, these are the guys that if you really want to know the core of Nerf modding, these are the guys to listen to, and these are the guys to follow, okay? And then branch off in your own individuality, your own way, the way I did, and that's the way to do it. So anyway, the Katana Mag, we put out the video for the Katana Mag, and you may notice that it's done in a studio with a green screen, and it's a lot nicer than anything I think I've ever done. Talented people working with jet blasters. And not just that, it wasn't just me going up there and saying what I was saying, but these people really helped me. Okay, this lighting, you want to look at lighting, you want your focus, your focal point to be this, you want to write out in the screenplay everything. Real challenge. But I like challenge. And challenge taught me to much better think of what I'm going to say before I say it, not freestyling it like I am now. And for years, I've done this freestyle mentality to Nerf blogs. And I will say, you're going to see some really cool shit out of the Jet Blaster page. Okay? The Jet Blaster YouTube page is going to be on fire. We get blasters out. We get promotions going. You're going to see what I believe could rival Shadow Stevens. If you've ever known Shadow Stevens, I mean, a lot of you don't because this was in the 80s, but he was a guy who did ads that were so good for Federated Incorporated, which was a appliance store, that people would say, oh, it's a commercial, let's turn it. No. Shadow Stevens again. Let's keep watching. And he would do all these skits on all these different themes, a Halloween theme, a honeymooners theme, a Roman theme, all this stuff, okay? And he did it real simple. Okay, no elaborate film crew, film studio, blue screen, nothing. Excuse me, I'm kind of getting over a cold here. He just got a Beta 8 camera, okay? It was a broadcaster grade Beta 8, and he just went and he shot it. But his uniqueness was his scripting, was how good of content it would have, and it grabbed people. And even though you had the ads with, the overpriced stereo equipment, I mean, you would laugh. A CD player back then was like $500. So Deck stereo, the CD player, was like $524. I mean, you would laugh now because it's like the simplest thing. It comes usually on most computers. But back then, they were really expensive. This was basically what was going to overturn Laserdisc one day with another standard called DVD, okay? And later on, Blu-ray, which they were competing with HD DVD and Blu-ray. But it became Blu-ray because it had the bigger backing. But at any rate, besides all that, okay, this is a guy who didn't take sides. He didn't anything. He just told you what was on sale, and he told you the way it was, and he had his clever imagination behind it. Before that, he was a radio disc jockey in Indiana. Shadow, man, I think you're one of the most influential people in my life when it comes to up in the game with my personality and everything else. Shadow, I think you're just badass. And even though we haven't seen you on the screen in years, and you've been on the radio, never forget that. And I really do admire very much your battles with conquering drug addiction and keeping yourself real. And I really wish you the best of luck, Shadow. I really do. And I really see that as a lot of influence. But is that the direction that we're going to go? I don't know. That's my suggestion. Is it up to me entirely? No. Am I going to do something different if they want me to? Yeah, because, Jet has done a lot for me. They have not just gave me a desk, hired me, and said, here's a bunch of Nerf guns, do what you want. No. They have shaped me and molded me into what I think in 5 or 10 years is going to be probably someone really great, someone who really knows how his customers, knows how to help run a company, knows how to relate to people. This is like majorly important to me. But you're going to see a lot more of these videos. And I would encourage your feedback. I would encourage your ideas in private if you have to. Just hit me up on Facebook. Now, my rule of Facebook messaging is, of course, I got people at all hours of the day who message me. If I turn my ringer on my phone, you will constantly hear a message every 5 minutes. Ring, ring, ring. Okay, I do try to get to all of them. Sometimes I don't. And usually when I'm sleeping, the ringer is off. Okay, or even the phone's off at that point because I ran out of battery from answering all these comments. But I do my best, and you're always free to message me. I do try to make myself accessible. I am a very personal person who likes to personally get involved and talk to people, and even on off-subject stuff. I mean, even if it doesn't relate to Jet Blaster, shit, man, it's fine. You write me, you say hi, Hey, Chris, what would you do with an Alpha Hawk, other than burn it? You know what I'm saying? I mean, you can, I'm not a snob about it. But if I don't have time, I'm not going to answer you. And it's not out of rudeness. But when I do, I will answer you. So anyway, this is Chris Cartea saying don't you go changing and aim for the good life, baby. Peace out.